What's going on guys, it's Swoosh here and welcome to my desk setup of 2021. Kicking things off with the desk, for the top part I'm using a linen tabletop from IKEA, measuring in at 150 cm wide by 75 meters deep. It's not made of solid wood unfortunately, but instead it's made from a fibre board on the top and on the sides, and then filled with a honeycomb structure paper fill-in to make this a very budget friendly desktop. It's sturdy enough and I haven't had many issues with it, but what I have encountered over the past year or so is that the paint has started to wear out where my forearms have been. It's not a huge deal, but it's becoming noticeable. Overall, it's a great tabletop if you're on a budget, but I would recommend a solid wood one if you can. Moving on, I'm using a set of the ever so popular Alex drawers from IKEA. Now these drawers are actually really good, boasting a ton of depth to each drawer, making it perfect to store all your things like cables, games, controllers, and all the accessories you would expect from anyone into tech. I highly recommend these if you want to keep your setup organised, and again, these are a great choice if you're on a budget and they also look great. Next up is my favourite part of the desk, which is this trestle from, you guessed it, IKEA. Now what I like about this trestle is that it opens up my desk a little, giving me a little bit more depth and legroom, which is a plus if you're tall like me. It's fully adjustable if you want a higher standing desk, and also has a shelf which I'm currently displaying my passion for sneakers, giving my setup some personality, which I think is important. For the monitor, I'm using the 27UL650 from LG. It's a 4K HDR IPS display with a refresh rate of 60Hz. It has a relatively small bezels, which is great, but what it does lack is the ability to turn left and right. For me, it's not a problem as I only need to adjust its height, so definitely keep that in mind if you're on the market for one. This monitor not only looks great aesthetically, but it also performs incredibly well, making this a fantastic monitor for photo editing, video editing, and gaming if you're not interested in competitive play, as you are limited to only 60Hz. Overall, it's a great monitor, but I am looking to upgrade it to the GP950 from LG that supports 4K at 120Hz. So above my monitor I have this incredible light called the LIFX beam. Now this really makes my setup stand out, and is one of my most asked questions I get over on my Instagram account, which I have left in the link in the description down below. Now this has a ton of colours to choose from and is super easy to use with the LIFX app. It features a ton of themes and options, such as the ability for the beam to be animated, i.e. a strobe effect or multiple colours fading in and out, and you can completely make your own one up, as each panel can be edited separately, giving you millions of options to choose from. Now I personally like to go with a daylight white, but I do like to change it up, especially when I use the LIFX Z strip that's on the back of my desk. Very much like the beam, it features all the effects mentioned above, giving me even more options than before. Having these both on the same setting through the app really gives this overall seamless look. Lastly, I have this hexagon shaped light called the Colo light. It's fully modular and has a plethora of colours, and when matched with the LIFX products, the themes you can make are absolutely endless. From a subtle minimal white theme that you can see now, to a crazy red cyberpunk theme, the options and possibilities are endless. Moving on to the speakers, I'm using the Audio Engine A2 Plus. Now these bookshelf speakers are incredible, but I will say they do lack in the bass department. I mainly use these for some ambient background music, or when I'm typically watching videos on YouTube, so the lack in bass does not bother me at all. They do offer a separate sub if bass is something you are looking for, but overall, I have really been enjoying these. Not only are they crystal clear, but they actually look really nice within my setup, and is probably one of the main reasons why these are so popular. If you want to find out more on these speakers, I have actually done a separate review on my channel, so be sure to check that out. Now onto the heart of my setup is my very first PC build that I made at the end of 2020. Inside the NZXT H510 case, I'm rocking a Ryzen 7 3700X 8-core processor, 16GB of Corsair's Vengeance Pro RAM, an NZXT Kraken X63 cooler, and the insanely huge Gigabyte OC RTX 3080 graphics card. To say this thing is a beast is an understatement. It literally crushes everything I put it through, from photo editing, video editing at 4K, and especially gaming. Games run at max settings with no problems, and I can't wait to upgrade my monitor to experience a much higher refresh rate this year. Moving on to the peripherals, I have this grey mild desk mat from a company called Grovemade. It's super soft and the quality is outstanding. It doesn't ball and lose fibres like some of the cheaper brands out there, and overall I'm happy with how this looks and feels within my setup. I think it compensates my keyboard very well, which is the Wamia K66. This 65% keyboard has been fantastic to use, and I can't help but love the look and style that it brings to my setup. What I really like about it the most is its frosted backplate when I use its RGB features. Just having a plain white light when you press a key looks really good, which I primarily use, but its full RGB features are crazy, like being able to change the key colours, board colours, pulse effects, you name it, this keyboard has it all. If you're into RGB, this is definitely for you. Next to my keyboard is the Corsair M55 Pro gaming mouse. It has a 12,400 dpi optical sensor, it's lightweight with 8 programmable buttons. Overall, it gets the job done. I'm not great at using a mouse for gaming, so when I actually get good, I might upgrade it if need be. So for cable management, I'm using the Signum rack from IKEA and also some electrical trunking to keep all these cables off the floor. If you noticed, I drilled a hole in my desk to feed my keyboard and mouse through to eliminate any cables across my desk. I also used a Stanley knife to make a small slit in my desk pad to neatly pass it through and give my setup that wireless look. It could probably be done better, but as long as no cables can be seen, then I'm happy. Now moving on to my chair, I'm using the IKEA Torkel. It's nothing special at all, and it's definitely getting upgraded this year. At the time of building my setup, it was very difficult to get hold of an ergonomic chair due to the pandemic, so instead I went for this cheaper option until I could get my hands on one that was available. It's quite light in weight, and for the first few months it was quite comfortable, but over the last few months it started to creak a little and it's losing its comfortability. It served well enough, but now it's time to upgrade. Now lastly, I have this pegboard on my wall to hold a few of my go-to bits like my camera I use for Instagram. It's fully modular, so you can add loads of different parts like shelves, clips, trays, etc. Like I have my notepad where I write down all my ideas for my future content and keep schedule with what I am filming. It's a cool unit to save desk space, especially in a compact area. So that's the end of my desk setup for 2021. If you've made it up until now, then you are a real one, and I appreciate all of you for watching. I hope this has inspired you in some way or another, and again, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again in the next one.